What is going on, my friends? Today in the studio, we're just going to kind of dive into some of the things that have been going on in the world and what I believe is really going on. And so, obviously, I don't want to make this channel very much going down this road. I just think it's very important that we talk about what we're about to talk about because, obviously, and I will give you my take and my solution as what we need to be doing as men in this country. So, to start off, the shit that happened last week was absolutely insane. We had people getting stabbed on the train. We have Charlie Kirk getting assassinated in broad daylight. And while these events in and of itself are extremely concerning, because there's extremely mental health crisis in this country, people that are insane, full of hatred and evil in their hearts. What was more concerning to me was seeing just how many people were celebrating these things. Like, they were happy to see a person get gunned down in front of his family. And this, to me, I think for a lot of us too, that was the more watershed moment. Not that, like, because we see bad things happening all the time. This world is a crazy place. But seeing so many people like take pleasure in seeing others' misfortune really woke me up to the fact that most of this world is completely asleep. And in fact, it's a hilarious how sometimes these words come into reality. Like woke is associated with bad now. It's like, oh, I'm a woke leftist. But in reality, the woke is what you should be striving for, awake. And like, those people are the most asleep people that I've ever had the misfortune of seeing. And and that's also too, we're not going to really go down this road, because there is people out there that even conversing with these people, you're not really talking to a logical, conscientious thinking person. You're just talking to the hive mind. You're just talking to a empty vassal. And so it's not really not even worth our discussion. We might as well be talking about why there are cows grazing in the pasture and like why they do certain things. It's like these people are completely asleep. They don't even know what they're talking about, and they're full of evil and hatred in their hearts. So that's kind of all I want to say on that. So then the next where I think the most important thing is, like, what do we do as men? What is our job? What is our goal here? How can we fix this country? And really, the only thing that you and I can do is continue to get as much money as we can, as much power, as much influence, build our families, build our homes. It's a bit messy in my office because we just picked up some acreage earlier this year in the middle of the state. We're going to be moving out of the city, and I'm very excited. We're going to be building. We have another child on the way. I'm very excited for that. And that is what I believe that all of us need to be doing. We need to also be banding together as men. If you're watching this, we have a group that we just launched. It's called The Fellowship. Now, I'm not quite sure exactly the details of this group just yet. I've had a home service group for a very long time. How to make money, how to get to $10K, $20,000 per month with your home service business. All that stuff is awesome, and we're getting into like the holiday season, so we're going to be talking a lot about putting up lights. We just did a job yesterday for like $2,400. It took us like a bit longer than it should have, like maybe 5 hours, but still, it's a big job. Making $2,000 in a day, not too bad. So that's kind of like the group that was like we previously had. But now after all these events, I want to have it be broader. So I'm not sure exactly what we're going to continue to name it, but I like The Fellowship to start out because as men, we have a duty to band together, talk about these things, talk about how we can get further in this life, how we can work together to achieve our goals. And this is why a lot of us have been, I think, very misled, and this is what they want. The powers that be, and we're not going to really get into that on today's episode. But if you can't look around and see that obviously there are people pulling the strings, then I don't know what to tell you. And it's not this person or not this group. It is a little bit of everyone. We've been misled our entire lives. And so, like I said, we'll get into that on another episode. Perhaps not even on YouTube. Perhaps this might be a discussion just for the private community. But the point is, there is people pulling the strings, and that's all we really need to know now. So how do we fight against this? And how do you and I take back our country? And really, like I said, the only things we can do is fix yourself. As Mother Teresa said, you want to change the world, start by raising a good family. And so that is obviously step one. getting a woman, getting a wife that you can love, that loves you, starting to have children, raising a good family with love, kindness, and also reading the Word of God, the Bible, all that stuff, obviously. And more so now, like in our last group call, we were talking about how we need to band together. The word fraternity came up, and like I said, it's called the fellowship. It might be like the fellowship of home services, something like that, where we can focus on how to make as much money as possible, not connected to any corporation or government entity. Like I used to be in the Navy. I've worked a ton of jobs, and I could tell you that almost all jobs are for slobs. Like jobs are just for, and not that there's anything wrong with the job, not that there's anything wrong with, I mean, even what we do. And I say that like with love, because I'll clean gutters sometimes. I mean, I'm out there doing like work with my hands, toiling in the earth, as the Lord says in, I think, Ecclesiastes, toil in the earth. And so again, nothing wrong with any of that, but we need to think bigger. We need to think how we can affect actual change and really get power and more control in this world. And this isn't going to happen fast. This is a year-long, decades-long plan of all of us men banding together. So if you're starting to wake up to this fact now, and like I said, the last week was a watershed moment. Looking around, because you can easily just like be like, okay, half these comments like I made, and the reason I haven't talked about this much on YouTube is because YouTube for me is more of my education platform where I can speak and educate. Instagram is kind of more like the social bubble, like I can kind of talk about what's going on. TikTok I use for like a little bit of education as well, and TikTok Shop, promoting certain products over there. But YouTube is kind of my education, so I haven't really spoken about this. And again, we probably will not continue down this road because, again, it's really not super productive to be like, oh, like I'm mad at this group of people, like I'm mad, and it's just like really nothing changes, nothing happens. Even talking about it, even for me personally, like going on Facebook and like commenting on someone that I went to high school with, like who's, mentally insane, for me to be like, oh, you're wrong. Like I'm almost as crazy as them for trying to convince them of all the insane things that they believe. So you see where I'm going with this? There is nothing we can do to fix these people, to help these people. They are completely lost. And so I believe it was Nick Fuentes who on his live stream, he kind of came up with the solution as well. So we need to, all of us, we know what's going on. We're all woken up. We need to move as efficiently as possible, as cloaked and silent as we can. Obviously, we should be speaking out against what we believe is true. But more importantly, we need to be ostracizing these people that are insane. Like I had a guy I'm not going to get into some people that I know personally, but just know that there are people that I know that I'm like, wow, this should never work for anyone that, how do I say this? Anyways, there are people that, all I want to say on that is there are people out there that need to be ostracized, that have no place in this society. So that's the important part. And I believe there's a website that you can submit people who've been celebrating the death. And, let's get back on track here. So what are we supposed to be doing here? And I already kind of covered that. What is really going on? And how can we fight back? And so the first step is really education. We got to figure out what's going on. So I can link some resources below, or this can be stuff that we'll talk about on the next group call. So if you're interested in joining our community, we will have that. There will be information on that down below. But first step is education. We got to figure out what is really going on, what is happening. And so again, there's some resources that will be linked. First step though is understanding that most of what we've been told is a lie. And that, I know we've probably heard that too. And some of the kind of like more conspiracy routes that I've been listening to, like guys like William Cooper, Bill Cooper, or people like, who's another good example? It was an old podcast, like you guys probably don't even know it. Or even guys like Owen Benjamin. He was that comedian who got canceled, who was also a bit out there as well with some of his ideas. And I don't necessarily agree with any or all of the stuff that these guys say. But the point is, like, I don't even know how to really talk about this because I don't really want to go down this rabbit hole super much on this exact video. But I just wanted to come on here and say that if you're watching this, you're not alone. You are not alone in the men around you that are disgusted by this, that want to get so much more stronger, and it's really woken us up. My resolve has never been stronger to get as rich as possible, make as much money as possible, have as much control over my own life as possible, that we never have to be dependent on these fucking systems. Like the whole, the pandemic was a really giant wake-up call. Like at the time I was living in an apartment, we couldn't even go to the gym, you couldn't even drink out of a fucking drinking fountain. It was very clear, like, wow, this society is very tightly controlled. And so I think, and one of the things that's like very interesting is like we have the Constitution of the United States of America, and it's just insane that like that is basically just a piece of paper that no one really gives a shit about. And so like we've even seen recently like people committing heinous acts that just no one really cares, and then they're completely going against the Constitution. So the point is, as men, we need to be doing what we should have been doing the last 5 years, and which, if you have been doing, if you're watching this channel, you probably already have your own business. You're probably already making your own money, and that's awesome. We need to do more, and we need to do it faster. I think that's what really showed me here, because we're just a few steps away from like a complete control of society. I mean, we're already pretty much there, like we said, but the fact is that like most people are fucking dead asleep. Most people have no idea what's going on. They claim to care about a country 2,000 miles away. They claim to care about whatever, but then when someone gets murdered in their own country, they're glad about it. But yet they claim to care about human life. It's a complete sham. They believe what they're told to believe. And so let's get to work, guys. Let's get to work. If you want to talk about this further, and again, some stuff that I'm not really going to say on YouTube, because we gotta be as much in public as we can. So there's certain things that we can't say on camera like this. So if you guys want to join the group, it will be down below. For now, it is free, but we will have a membership fee very soon, because we got to keep the weirdos out. As you guys know, the bigger something gets, the more eyes on it, and the more eyes on anything in life, we're more experienced. We're more exposed to the people who we don't really want to be, and the people that we are trying to help, we are trying to save. It's like almost like we are, like as the Bible says, shepherds. The Lord is my shepherd, and as Jesus is the shepherd of us, what does that make us? That makes us the sheep, the livestock. And it's like almost like all these people are in a cage that being led to the slaughter, lambs led to the slaughter. We have jumped the fence. We know what's going on. We're like, hey, like you guys are in danger. Like this is not good. And they're like, no. Like I have rights. I have my right to vote. Like I put my vote and I submitted it to the farmer so he can count my vote. And I'm like, and it's just like, well, your vote is going to the people that already control you. You really think that that's gonna like fix anything? You really think that's real? But anyways, you couldn't even have this conversation with anyone who's like down that rabbit hole. They're just gonna live their life. They've already completely bought the farm. There's no critical thinking. They're completely asleep. So anyways, I want to make this video somewhat short. I don't want to go down too many rabbit holes, because we totally could. I could talk about this for hours. Love to go down into some various sources, but make more money, build a family, get land, start networking, start talking to other men. Any men that you find at the gym that's cool, any guys you find online, like our group or whatnot, or just people in your community, at your church, at the local at the bar, people, guys, men that are strong, that are like you. We all pretty much think the same. I think I saw the best idea. One guy was like, if I had to put a society together, it'd be a strength-based society where you could only make laws if at one time you could bench 315 on incline for like 3 reps. And I 100% agree. I think that's actually unironically one of the best ideas I've ever heard. So, because if we get rid of all the weak men, we get rid of almost all women making these laws and such. And I was like, that's a hilariously good idea. So anyways, that is, I think I've said enough. I think I've beat this horse dead enough. We'll continue with the livestock analogies. So I will see you guys in the next episode. I will put this out, and we'll continue to talk about ways to make money, how to really fucking get after it in this life. And again, kind of with the fellowship, I want to expand our mission. I want to get a little bit beyond home service. I want to talk about making money online, buying land, building houses, traveling abroad, being off the control of all these systems. So that's really the kind of the point of this channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Much love. God bless. Peace.
Thanks for tuning in to the Spencer Clay Show. That's all for now. See you in the next episode. Peace.